my view of life
Absolutely.
is kind of different as I'm getting older, as a man, and
Yes.
I just look at life a bit different now. So it's not always about like the hype or like doing things of being prideful. You know what I mean? But
Absolutely.
it's man, it's human. Sometimes we can become prideful when we create something and we're happy about it and we want to do things and all of that stuff. But like for me, I always have to remain content and try to remain humble as possible as I can be, so because I'm not only representing myself,
Yes.
but I'm representing my communities. I'm representing my skin color. You know what I mean? I'm
Absolutely.
representing the masculine figure of men. Like, you know what I mean? Because we're taught to be dogs and just be womanizers, and men are users and stuff. But but they don't know about the creative side. You know
Mm,
what I mean? And so
that's
I
true.
want to change the next generation by leaving a different mindset, with the help of God still. But, hopefully,
Absolutely.
the project that I'm working on right now will work.
This leads me to how can we prepare our young men to become men, especially in the black community. We do have we do have men. So when we talk about manhood in the black community compared to back in the days, I have people that I look up to like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, Dr. Miles Monroe. These are
Mm-hmm.
vibrant black male that really who were there for their families, who were there for their community, who had a life that would inspire us as young men to want to become. But now, what we see on
Right.
TV, it's like what defines a black manhood is what we see on rap music, is what we see from Hollywood. But I'm here to tell, especially our young
Right.
black male, that Hollywood or rap music don't have to define what manhood is all about. You can find real manhood in your community. You just have to look at or ask somebody, what does it take to be a man? You understand? Because what
Mm-hmm.
we see from other men, the type of life does not really lead us to say, no, what indeed this is what manhood is. You can ask your grandfather. So what's your advice to a
Right.
young man trying to discover what it means to be a black man? I'm talking about a real black man who will be there for his family, who has a job or who has at least a sense of purpose. They know where they're going, who have discovered themselves, who knows their worth, who knows their essence, and it's not defined by nobody else, it's not defined by society, who is independent.
Example for me, um, discovering manhood and trying to find myself, it's it can be difficult when you have people around you, when you have technology around you, when you have when you provide when you give yourself to people. You know what I mean? When you give yourself people your time, when you know that you could have been working on that time on your own, you give yourself to that person, not knowing that that time is wasted. And that can be a friend, your friends, or family, games, whatever. Like, if you can't find yourself and always try to please people, you'll always be lost. I feel like for me, I was a people pleaser. And I think I felt like I wasn't focused on trying to know what my manhood is or what is it like to be a man or whatever. I just felt like if I do this for people in general, they just like me, or they'll think this or whatever, right? So for me, for a young man growing up in like in a rough community in any neighborhood, um, trying to find his way, it is not easy. There's times where you feel like you want to kill yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you feel suicidal. Like, you'll feel like, yo, holy, nothing's going on for you or something. And you're at this age, you're 21 or 22, but you're
Mm.
still young, right? I think we force ourselves into manhood. We put ourselves in positions when we're not prepared. And then I feel like at the end of the day, we can't, like, as much as our parents did their thing in their past and whatever it might be, I know most of these homes that are in these communities are broken. Like, there's a lot of single parent moms, a lot of
Yeah.
single parent dads. There's a lot of moms and dads that are co-parenting, whatever. But it's still not connected, right? Because there's no two there. There's no two parents there. There's only one. So it's hard to really say that you like you're a man when you're at a certain age because you're still growing, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I say you're a man still when you retire. I say you're a man when you achieve the goal that you achieve, or you do take care of your responsibility. That's when
Yeah.
you're a man. I feel like if you put yourself in a position spitefully, knowing the intentions of you can hurt someone or like waste somebody's time, you're not ready to grow, or you're not ready to be that man. You're not ready to be that man at all, for sure.
Hmm.
Um, but you have to go through mistakes to be that man. You
Yes.
have to
Yes.
go through pain. You have to go through hurt. You have to go through embarrassment. You have to go through shame. You know what I mean? You have to go through mistakes. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Listen, there's no perfect man on earth except Jesus Christ, big man.
Yeah.
You
That's
see what I'm
true.
saying? And at the
Absolutely.
end of the day, I look at life as we will always fall short. You
Absolutely.
know what I mean?
Absolutely.
We will always, but if he knows the ways of the heart, things will flow natural. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
God will put a character on top of you that you will never think that you'll be that type of person towards people.
Mm.
Regarding to how you grew up from in the past. Like, for me, to be really honest, like, I grew up going to different places and playing basketball. So I kind of found my manhood a little bit through playing ball with older guys and talking to them and reasoning with them and hearing their experiences, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that I was a man yet.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I'm still growing. No matter what age you are, you're always learning.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? Once a man, twice a child. So I think about it. The most crucial years of your life is from when you're in your 30s to like your 60s. That's it.
Mm.
From your 60s, you're done.
Wow.
Basically, like, in terms of your body being active, you with the creative mindset of doing things, you're kind of finished,
Mm.
right? Because all those years that you were trying to think that you had time, you wasted it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I can't put myself in that position as a young man. I
Yeah.
can't put myself in that position still.
I mean that's true
So
because time time is life. You know, you're not always gonna be 15 years
correct.
old. You're not always gonna be 18 years old. You're not always gonna be 20 years old. You have to
Mm,
grow. As time passes, you have to grow.
right.
So if you are in your 30s
Right.
and you still behave and think like a 15-year-old, and then you expect life
Mm,
to give you whatever, and you don't want to work for it, you don't want to demand it, you don't want to change your ways in
right.
order for you to achieve certain things in life, or you don't want to get up and work hard because nobody's going to do it for you. When you reach a certain age, you're all
True.
by yourself, because what makes somebody an adult is that you're
So
independent, you're on your own. But when you're, let's say when you're like maybe from 1 to 15, you have parents.
right.
You have parents. This is something that we
It's
have to
true.
tell. We have to tell our
It's
young
true.
men, our young girls that, you know what? Start learning now to take care of yourself.
I think it's environment they're around. Like, I'll be honest with you. Like, for me, growing up in the Jane Finch community, like like the environment that you're around, like, there's no time to grow. So much things surrounded your mind at a certain time of your life, especially when you're young. You don't have time to think about you. You have time to think about where are we going tomorrow? What we doing today? What store are we going to buy? What shoes are we going to buy? Or what party are we going to? Or what are we doing? Or what basketball game are we going to? Or what are we doing? You don't have time to think about to build on yourself. And I think that's what happens to enough of our young people, especially us adults too, is that we don't give time for ourselves.
Mm.
We never, and so this is why sometimes we miss out on our opportunities. We miss out on growing, and that's why you would see, in even in certain homes, there are some kids that are grown up in broken homes, and still come out to focus and still come out to be someone that they wanted to be from how
Absolutely.
they wanted to think of where they wanted to go. So at the end of
Absolutely.
the day, you know what I mean? It's you versus you,
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
right?
Yeah, that's true.
It's
That's true.
you versus you. It's you versus you, man. It's a survival. My dad doesn't even know his dad, to be
Mm.
real. He
Yeah.
doesn't even know his dad. Okay?
Yeah.
My grandpa was a rich man in Jamaica,
Yeah.
and because my grandmother was not rich, his family didn't want my dad, but his family disowned my dad and my uncle.
Yeah.
So my grandmother and my dad went back to the ghetto,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So when you see certain lifestyle, when I see certain lifestyle of my dad, on how he told me how he grew up, he 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 missed out on a lot,
Mm. Mm.
right? Like he wished he could have started certain things and have it there, and money can build on it or something like that and can grow. Or
Yeah.
he wished he had someone to be there to teach him that. But
Wow.
because of
Mm.
people's intentions and how people think of people,
Yes.
he had to understand that, like, on his own.
Yeah. Let me just add to this. I think most times we don't have role models that will give us advice, even among each other, among our friends. I will say, you know what, bro? I want you to focus on this. Or I want to teach you how to file your tax. Or I want to teach you, if you want to go to
Right.
college, you don't have to take OSAB. You can work hard and pay for your own tuition fee. If we have people speaking into
Right.
our lives at an early age, even our parents sharing their mistakes with us, that's gonna help us in the future to say, you know what, my dad told me
Fact.
that I should be careful with this. My mom told me that, you know what, I
Mhm.
gotta be careful with this because me, I like reading the book of Proverbs because the book of Proverbs is like
Right.
it's like parents telling their young men and young women about life,
Right.
instructing them in wisdom. Talk about different topics, how
Right.
you communicate, be diligent,
Mm-hmm.
be careful of certain
Mm-hmm.
women, don't allow friends to allow you to do something evil. I wish I had like a young adult in my life that would have said, you know what, bro, you're working too hard,
Mm-hmm.
save money. You know what, bro, go to school,
Yeah.
go to
True.
school, get your school
True.
done, bro, get your school
Mm-hmm.
done. But you know what? You have to do
Right.
it all by
Right.
yourself.
Right.
You have to, after you have suffered in life, not because we're meant to suffer at an early
Right.
age. Parents or friends or uncles or aunts or somebody who's an adult who's in the community can prevent certain sufferings that happen to us, right? Because some of us
Absolutely.
we will discover ourselves after we have suffered. Maybe let's say you're 30 years old, then you
Right.
realize, you know what? Oh, he hits me that, bro. I gotta be serious about my life because time is flying.
Right.
Now you have a child.
Can't
Now
wait
you're
for that, man.
now you're waking up. Now you're waking up. Oh, I have a child, and there's so much demand because, bro, the older you become in life, the more the demands of life. Life is not gonna be easy when you become
Right.
old. Life does not become easy when you become old. It's all you, like you said, it's you
No.
against yourself.
Like, I'll be honest with you. Like, in today's communities, I see that there's not a lot of older people being there in the community to be there to talk to the youth, and I can understand why. The generation is different,
Mm,
right?
yes.
You can't talk to them, sir. You can't talk to them how you could talk to, like, how you could talk to me and you back then when we were young,
Yes.
right? The time is different now because it will just go through their ear and come out the next. They'll hear it, but they're not
Yes.
gonna listen to it,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
No, this generation is different. This generation is the millennial. So these kids are they're more aggressive,
Mm, Yeah,
right? These guys are more aggressive. They're more entitled to do what they want. You know what I mean? But if you can create something to their lifestyle, but in a positive way, it can change their mindset about life. But
absolutely,
you have to be creative. You have to have the mind for it. You have to be creative for it. Like, I'm not
absolutely.
saying that you're nobody's creative, but I'm
Yeah,
saying you have to sit down, meditate, think about it, brainstorm with some ideas, and create an idea that you can prevent youth from having kids at an early age, or for being in jail at an early age, or
mm,
for selling drugs at an early age.
mm.
So for me as a kid, I always played basketball everywhere I went. I always used basketball as a tool to get myself out of trouble. You know what I mean? I never took it as just a fun thing. I really love the game. That put me at peace. When I was upset at life, I would go and dribble the ball when I was mad. You know what I mean? When I'm having a bad day, I'll go and dribble the ball. If I know that, my siblings are turning on and off, like, you know what I mean? I'm leaving, I'm going to the gym playing ball. So you don't have to be a significant figure, you
Yeah,
know what I mean, to express yourself and tell a story. You know what I mean? And that's what young people don't know. They have to be famous to show what they have. No,